Ever wonder how our daily routines shape the person we become? Imagine a day in your life. You wake up, brush your teeth, have breakfast, and carry out countless other tasks, most of them without even thinking. These actions, these routines, are what we call habits. They're the building blocks of our daily lives, the invisible architecture that marks the rhythm of our existence. As we go about our day, it's easy to overlook these minute details. But in truth, they hold an immense power over us. They shape the way we think, the way we work, the way we live, and ultimately, the person we become. But what if you could harness this power? What if you could understand the mechanics of habits and use them to propel yourself towards a better future? This is where the book Atomic Habits comes into play. Penned by James Clear, this insightful read delves into the world of habits, giving us a glimpse into their profound influence on our lives. Atomic Habits is not just about habits though, it's about the science behind them, about the potential they hold, and about how making the smallest changes can lead to the biggest impacts. It's about how a single atom, seemingly insignificant in the grand scheme of things, can spark a chain reaction, just like a tiny habit can set the stage for a significant transformation in our lives. So, as we embark on this journey to understand the power of habits, we'll be navigating through the concepts and principles laid out in Atomic Habits. We'll be exploring how habits form, how they work, and how they can be changed. We'll be uncovering the secrets of habit formation and discovering how we can use these insights to cultivate positive habits and discard the negative ones. So, buckle up and prepare for a journey into the atomic world of habits. A journey that will change the way you perceive your daily routines and the power they hold. As we delve into the atomic world of habits, do you ever wonder how tiny changes can lead to remarkable results? What if you could change your life just by improving 1% each day? It's a compelling question, isn't it? This concept, known as the 1% rule, is a cornerstone of the Atomic Habits philosophy. The 1% rule is about making small, incremental changes each day that over time can lead to significant improvements. It's about understanding that the habits we cultivate are not just boxes to be checked off a list or finish lines to be crossed. They are, in essence, a lifestyle to be lived. Think of it this way, if you were to improve yourself by just 1% each day for an entire year, you wouldn't just be 365% better by the end of that year. Due to the compounding effect, you'd actually be about 37 times better. That's the power of slow, consistent, and incremental growth. But let's put that into a more tangible context. Imagine you're a writer who wants to pen a novel. Instead of setting an overwhelming goal of writing 2,000 words every day, you start with just 20 words. It's a small, manageable goal, but it gets you into the habit of writing daily. Over time, those 20 words can easily become 200, then 2,000. Before you know it, you've written a novel. The beauty of the 1% rule is that it applies to any area of life. Whether you want to improve your health, your career, or your relationships, you can apply this rule. The key is to focus less on the end goal and more on the process itself. It's about making small changes consistently and letting the power of compounding do the work. So remember, it's not about massive, overnight change. It's about daily, consistent improvement, no matter how small. It's about understanding that habits are not just actions but a way of life. And it's about realizing that even the smallest changes can have a significant impact over time. Now imagine what small changes you can start making today to achieve your goals. How does a habit form, and more importantly, how can we break a bad one? Understanding the process of habit formation is the first step. Habits, both good and bad, follow a similar pattern, a four-stage cycle known as the habit loop. These four stages are cue, craving, response, and reward. Let's begin with the cue. The cue is the trigger that initiates the habit. It could be anything from the sound of your alarm clock ringing, signaling it's time to get up, to the smell of fresh coffee brewing, motivating you to start your day. The cue is the sensory or emotional signal that nudges your brain to start the habit loop. Next comes the craving. This is the motivational force behind every habit. Without some level of desire or longing, the cue has no effect. It's not the coffee you crave, it's the feeling of alertness that the caffeine gives you. The craving is what powers the habit loop. The third stage is the response. This is the actual habit you perform, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. You could press the snooze button on your alarm, not recommended, or you could leap out of bed with enthusiasm, highly recommended. The response is the behavior that the cue and the craving have triggered. The final stage is the reward. The reward is the end goal of every habit. It's the feeling of satisfaction you get after responding to the cue and the craving. The reward is the reason the habit exists in the first place. It's what your brain remembers the next time the cue comes around, reinforcing the habit loop. Understanding this loop is crucial to breaking bad habits and forming good ones. By identifying and adjusting the components of the habit loop, we can redirect our actions towards healthier, more productive behaviors. For example, if you have a habit of snacking on junk food when you're bored, cue, instead of reaching for the chips, response. You could reach for a piece of fruit, alternate response. The satisfaction of eating something healthy, reward, could replace your craving for junk food. With knowledge of the habit loop, you hold the power to create or change any habit. Can you multiply the power of your habits simply by stacking them together? Now that's a question that piques curiosity, isn't it? The answer is a resounding yes, and the method is called habit stacking. Habit stacking, in its simplest form, is pairing a new habit with a current, well-established one. Think of it as a piggyback ride for your habits. The new habit hops onto the back of an existing one, making it easier to remember and more likely to stick. Imagine, for instance, that you have a solid morning routine. You wake up, brush your teeth, and then make a cup of coffee. That's a sequence of habits, one leading naturally to the next. Now what if you want to incorporate a new habit, let's say, practicing mindfulness? You could stack it onto your existing chain of habits. So after making your coffee, instead of heading straight for the shower, you sit down for 5 minutes of mindfulness. The beauty of habit stacking is how seamlessly it integrates new behaviors into your routine. By tying your new habit to a familiar routine, you're giving it a fighting chance to survive and thrive. And the best part? This doesn't just apply to morning routines. You can stack habits throughout your day. For instance, you could stack a quick workout session right after you finish your work for the day, or read a chapter of a book after dinner. The possibilities are endless. But remember, the key to successful habit stacking is choosing the right pairings. The new habit should naturally fit into the flow of the existing one. If it feels forced or inconvenient, it's less likely to stick. So if you're looking to cultivate new habits, give habit stacking a try. It's like a 2-for-1 deal, but for your personal growth. Habit stacking not only simplifies your routine, but also amplifies your results. By combining habits in this way, you're not just adding to your routine, you're multiplying its effects. And that's the power of habit stacking. What if the secret to successful habit change was as simple as changing your environment? This question may seem far-fetched, but there's a profound truth hidden within it. Our surroundings play a crucial role in shaping our behaviors and habits. They are like invisible hands gently pushing us towards certain actions and decisions. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how you tend to eat more when you're in a restaurant filled with the delicious aroma of food? Or how you feel an urge to check your phone if it's right next to you? These are perfect examples of how our environment influences our actions. But here's the good news. We can turn this environmental influence to our advantage. By making small adjustments to our surroundings, we can make a big difference in our success in forming new habits. Let's dive a little deeper into this. Imagine you want to read more. If you leave a book on your bedside table, you're more likely to pick it up before you sleep. Or suppose you're trying to eat healthier. By placing a bowl of fruits on the kitchen counter, you're more likely to grab an apple instead of reaching for a bag of chips in the cupboard. These small changes in your environment can make it easier for you to stick to your new habits. But remember, it's not just about adding positive cues to your environment. It's equally important to remove the triggers that lead to unwanted behaviors. If you're trying to cut down on screen time, keep your phone in another room while you're working. Or if you're trying to quit smoking, avoid places where you usually light up a cigarette. In essence, by consciously designing an environment that supports your desired outcomes, you're setting yourself up for success. It's a simple yet powerful strategy that can help you transform your habits and, ultimately, your life. So, let's start looking at our environment through a new lens. Let's view it as a tool that can help us build better habits and make meaningful changes in our lives. Remember, by shaping your environment, you shape your habits and ultimately, your future. When it comes to forming new habits, there's one more powerful tool we haven't talked about yet: accountability. Accountability is like a secret weapon that can help us stick to our habits, even when we're tempted to give up. Let's understand how it works. Imagine you've decided to start running every morning. Now, it's one thing to make that decision when you're feeling motivated and energized. But it's a whole other thing to stick to it on a chilly morning when your bed feels extra cozy. This is where accountability comes in. If you commit to running with a friend, you're not just accountable to yourself anymore. You're accountable to your friend too. And this added layer of accountability can make all the difference. It can give you that extra push you need to get out of bed and stick to your running routine. Besides, it's not just about avoiding letting someone else down. There's also a social aspect to it. We, as humans, are social creatures. We crave connection and belonging, and when we share our goals and habits with someone else, it strengthens our sense of community and motivates us to keep going. But remember, accountability isn't just about partnering up with a friend. You can also use digital tools to keep track of your progress and share it with others. Or, you can hire a coach or join a group that shares your goal. The key is to find a system that works for you and stick to it. Remember, accountability breeds responsibility, and responsibility leads to consistency. And consistency, as we know, is the key to forming new habits. So start leveraging the power of accountability today and see the difference it makes in your journey towards habit change. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about life-changing habits, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now that we've understood the power of accountability, let's move on to another crucial aspect of habit formation: reward systems. Rewards play a vital role in making any new habit stick. They act as a positive reinforcement, encouraging us to repeat the behavior that leads to the reward. Let's take a closer look at how this works. Imagine you've taken a resolution to eat healthy. Now, every time you resist the temptation of junk food and choose a healthy option instead, reward yourself. This could be anything from treating yourself to a movie, spending some extra time on your favorite hobby, or even taking a relaxing bath at the end of the day. The key here is to choose a reward that is meaningful and enjoyable to you. Over time, your brain will start associating the healthy eating habit with the positive feelings generated by the reward, making it easier for you to stick to the habit. But remember, for a reward system to work effectively, the rewards must be immediate. Waiting too long to reward yourself can weaken the association between the habit and the reward. Also, it's important to make sure that the rewards you choose are in line with your long-term goals. For example, if your goal is to lose weight, rewarding yourself with a high-calorie treat might not be the best idea. Instead, find rewards that support your goal and make the habit formation process more enjoyable. So, start implementing a reward system today and see how it enhances your habit formation journey. Remember, rewards are what you earn, not what you owe to yourself. So, earn them, enjoy them, and let them guide you towards your desired habits. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting this channel by subscribing. We would love to see you back for more.